Hey everybody, Claire Archer, CEO DVC Technology, and I've got a great one today. Today I'm going to review the brand new UCG Fiber. As you may know, DBC Technology is a managed service provider, meaning we provide IT and network support for small to medium-sized businesses. Traditionally, we have not used Unifi as our router of choice, but over the last 12 to 18 months, they've become a really compelling option, and we are starting to dip our toes into putting Unifi into our clients' offices. So I was really intrigued when Unifi contacted me about this device and asked if I would like to test one. So I was super excited to get my hands on one, and thank you to Unifi for sending one out. They sent me this unit free of charge to demo, but no money changed hands, and all the opinions are my own. But spoiler alert, too long didn't watch. This is an incredible device. I'm going to go through the reasons I think it's such an incredible device, who I think this is for, and answer a bunch of your questions. So let's jump right into it. So if you've seen my review of the Cloud Gateway Max and the UDM Pro, both machines I really like a lot, this machine sits right in between those. It's really a pretty impressive device. I'll roll some B-roll of us unboxing it, but it is a non-rack mountable little device. It's very similar to the UCG Max, although the footprint is a little bit wider. But if you've seen a Cloud Gateway Max, you'll be very familiar with the look here. It also has a little sled on the side of it for an NVMe drive. Mine came pre-installed with a 1 TB drive. You can get it without a drive. You can get it with a drive. If you get it without the drive, you can also buy the sled additionally for $19 and put your own drive in it. I'm not going to go through the full adoption process on this device. It's pretty simple. The one thing there is if you are doing an upgrade, you can choose the backup. So if you backed up your previous config, you can just restore your backup. Funny story here. I am reviewing 3 different devices here, but I went from an EFG to the UDR7 to this UCG Fiber, all with the same backup file, which is pretty incredible that the backup file from an EFG worked on a UDR7, and then that same file worked upgrading to this. So you can downgrade and upgrade with those backups, which is pretty interesting. I would never tried to do that before. The really awesome thing about this, though, and the really cool thing about Unifi's ecosystem right now is once you've adopted the device, they all really pretty much have the same interface. Now, all their devices don't run all the same apps, but this runs all the same apps that you would on a UDM Pro, UDM SE, a UDM Pro Max, and the Unified Cloud Gateway Max, which basically means you can run the full suite of software on this device. The way I look at it, it is a mini UDM Pro slash UDM Pro Max. So let's jump into the things that really differentiate the UCG Fiber from those other devices. I'm gonna throw a little overlay on the screen and I'm gonna compare the UCG Max, the UCG Fiber, the UDM Pro, UDM Pro SE, and the UDM Pro Max, just to give you an idea where this fits in the new ecosystem. Obviously, this isn't an exhaustive list of all the specs, but you can find that down below. There'll be an affiliate link, and if you click on the affiliate link to the ECG Fiber, it will give you all the tech specs. You can also go on store.ui.com and see all the specs for all these devices. But right off the bat, you'll notice that the party trick of this device is that has this 10 gigabit throughput. So if you have fiber and you have a multiple gig connection, this is obviously the device for you. It is going to do 5 gigabits per second routing with IPS and IDS turned on. That's actually greater than the 3.5 that the UDM Pro and the UDM SE does, and matches the UDM Pro Max at that 5 gigabit per second with IPS and IDS turned on, which is amazing. And you can see the UCG Max only did 1.5 gigabit per second. The other cool thing about that is it does that through a 10 gigabit SPF Plus port and a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. And it also has another 10 gigabit SFP Plus LAN port. And all those are read assignable, and none of those are combo ports. You can use all of those ports and, not or. So that's really awesome for the connectivity there. If you are, not only you have a high-speed WAN, you have a high-speed LAN, you're able to connect this, to an ag switch or whatever you're going to do there at super high speeds, which is awesome. Where it does fall a little bit short of the UDM Pro and UDM SE is it only does 50 devices versus their 100 devices. And it only does 500 clients versus their 1,000 clients. But for most people, I find that that kind of is a Goldilocks spot of 50 devices and 500 clients. That's a lot of stuff. Yeah. That 50 devices is going to be 50 unified devices, and the 500 clients is going to be, computers, printers, phones, all that kind of stuff that's connected to it. So I think you have a lot of runway there. That's going to be a pretty good size office, and to fill that up, it's going to be more than you're going to need in the average home. You can see on the UCG Max, you got 30 devices and 300 clients. I think that's also a pretty good spot there, but this is just giving you that little bit more. I definitely feel like this is that step into the small business arena versus the home arena, where the UCG Max may shine a little bit more there, and the UCG Fiber maybe a little bit more in the small business arena. Or, and probably more likely for the crew that is watching this video, is if you are a power user, you are a home lab enthusiast or whatever, I think that the $50 jump up to the UCG Fiber is probably going to be worth it. It also has four 2.5 gigabit LAN ports, and one of those is PoE Plus, which is awesome. When we jump in here in a second, you'll see that I am running a camera with that, but most likely you're probably going to run a WAP with that because it does not have a built-in WAP like the UDR7 does. It also has that single NVMe storage slot, which is awesome, very similar to the UCG Max, almost identical. So this is another difference probably between the UDM Pro, UDM SE, and UDM Pro Max. If you need a lot of storage for Protect, I think you're going to be better off with the UDM Pro, UDM SE. And if you need redundancy for that storage, I think the UDM Pro Max, with the 2 drive base, being able to put 2 hard drives in there. Nowadays, you're able to get 18 terabytes for around $300. So you can go really, really big. And with NVMe, not only are you not going to be able to go that big in this UCG Fiber as far as storage goes, but the storage is going to be more expensive. Another difference between the UCG Fiber and the UDM Pro and the UDM Pro SE is the number of cameras you can run. So you can run 15 HD cameras, 8 2K cameras, or 5 4K cameras on the UCG Fiber. So on the UDM Pro, you can go to 24 HD cams, 14 2K cams, or 8 4K cams. So a little bit more camera bandwidth there. The Cloud Gateway Fiber and the Cloud Gateway Max both have the same number of cameras, so they're similar there. Also, all of these devices can do 55,000 signatures with CyberSecure. So if you do pay for that service, there is no difference between these different units for that. So I'm going to jump right into my UCG Fiber. You can see I've got it installed. I've been running it for quite some time now. It is awesome. I will tell you just really quickly, I did go from the EFG down to the UDR7, and I really noticed the difference. And when I came back up from that Dream Router to the UCG Fiber, I really felt like this is the Goldilocks for my particular setup. You can see I don't have a crazy setup. I don't have thousands and thousands of devices, but I do, the devices that I do have are all high-speed devices, and I like for them to be running as fast as possible. I did notice on the UDR7 from the EFG, obviously top of the line to entry level, quite a difference in processing power. But when I upgraded from the UDR7 to the UCG Fiber, I feel like my network is running at full potential. I don't feel that there's really that much difference between running this and the EFG. So that being said, your mileage may vary. My network is pretty small, but it's a nice network. So I think that this is got all the overhead to run my network. You can see that I am running Protect, and in Protect, I've got 2 cameras going. I've got one camera, the G5 Flex, running off of the one PoE Plus port, which works great. And I've got a G4 instance that is just running over here wirelessly. For a small home, small office, I think, if you're going to just run 3 or 4 or 5 cameras, this is more than enough. It does fine. Right now, let's see what I'm getting on storage here. Hey, there's Mr. Sketch. Let's see what we're getting on storage capacity. I'm getting 21 days here. We don't have a ton of stuff going on here. It's going to see Sketch walking around. But there's not a lot of motion here and not a lot of stuff going on. So, your mileage may vary there. I've got the 1 terabyte drive in here. So, you would scale that as appropriate. But no problem running these 2 cameras. They look wonderful. Go to high quality on them just so they look as good as they possibly can. But yeah, and really to it, as you're looking at this is the beauty of the ecosystem, is everything looks the same now. So if I was on a UDM Pro Max or if I am on the UDR7, it all looks the same. I really like that software interface for everything is very, very similar. I'm not going to go through a ton of stuff here because it probably doesn't really make that much sense. I really think the decision here on which one of these to buy is really going to be more on your needs and on specs more than it is a walk through all the features, because once you get into the devices, they're all pretty much the same, short of whatever physical features that particular device may or may not have. So that begs the question, who is this device for? Who should be getting it, and where does it fit in the overall ecosystem? I think anybody that's considering a UDM Pro or UDM SE right now, I think this is a really compelling option. If you don't need the extra drive space and or a camera capacity and Protect, and you're not looking for a rack-mounted option, this is really a great spot. Also the same for a small business. If you're looking for a device that can handle multi-gigabit internet, you're also looking for a device that can run all of the different apps, meaning Protect, Access, Connect, Talk, Interspace, all that stuff. on one device, as well as offering multiple 10 gig and 2.5 gig connectivity. This really is a compelling device. And at the price point, $249, I really think this is probably the belle of the ball for me right now in the Unifi lineup. I've been talking a lot about this kind of option story around Unifi, and what they're doing is they're just slotting everything into these $50 to $100 price ranges. And you can see this really kind of, to me right now, is a Goldilocks spot. So at $199, the UCG Max, I think, is a really great device. I've recommended it to a ton of people. It's really a wonderful device. And I honestly, if I had that, I don't think I would upgrade that to the UCG Fiber unless I was going to multi-gigabit internet. But for $50 more now, I think that the UCG Fiber is probably the go-to of those two devices. And there's a big gap to $379 up to the UDM Pro, and even more $499 to the UDM SC. But for half price of the UDM SC, I think you're getting a whole heck of a lot of the same features. Some things are going to be less, some things are going to be more, but it's a really compelling argument for this device. This device doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi, so if you're looking for that, you're going to have to go down to the EDR7 or the UX7, but I think this device is in a whole different ballgame to those two devices. And I'll leave it with this. The most telling thing for me is this is the device I'm going to leave on at my house. I've got a couple Cloud Gateway Macs, I've got a couple EFGs. This one seems to just be the kind of Goldilocks in between all of them. I don't ever feel like I'm over pushing it at my house. I don't ever feel like I'm hitting a limit on it. It's got the headroom there on the WAN port so that no matter what I get as far as internet connection is over the next few years, I'm going to be fine. It powers the two cameras that I'm using in my house right now. And for me, one of the biggest things is where I have it in my house. I've got my Alexa on top of it, my cable modem next to it. It's in my living room where I can't put my rack. So it aesthetically pleases my wife. I'm not in trouble for having a big piece of ugly networking gear there. So it just works for me. And this will be my daily driver for the foreseeable future. So with that, if you're looking at it, I would click the link down below and I would buy one ASAP. I think you're going to have trouble keeping this one in stock. And with that, if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. And as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.